Hi folks! Despite some noticeable growth in Calgary's housing market in the last few months, both in prices and sales volume, Alberta still remains one of the most attractive places for Canadians to buy real estate in. And it doesn't matter if you're an investor, first-time home buyer, an international student who wants to settle in Canada, or already an experienced home buyer. The current market in Calgary and other Alberta cities makes it just way too attractive to avoid considering, especially knowing the fact that Ontario's prices are still double and sometimes even triple more expensive. For reasonable and affordable homeownership, Alberta remains my top selection. And today I will show you what kind of houses you can buy in Calgary in different price ranges, so we all have an idea of what's going on here. In my first video on this channel, I explained why I find Calgary's real estate market quite attractive, after it went through over 6 years of real estate prices decline, all the way from 2014 to 2020, and just recently started picking up some pace and showing positive percentages on a year-to-year basis. Personally, I decided to start with the condo because it felt that $160,000 for a great one-bedroom apartment in good area was a sweet deal that I just couldn't miss, especially for a single person when you don't need much of a space, you know. But I am considering getting a house as well at some point later this year in the city. So I've done some extensive research to see how much money I will need and what options are available for house seekers as of March 2022, and made this video for you to show how much exactly would you need to get yourself a great home or condo in Calgary right now. Especially now, while the fixed and variable rates are still quite low, 1 and 2.5% respectively, which just simply makes it the best time to invest, because rates are going to go up, there is no doubt about it. Let's talk about houses first, and then I will brief you on the condo situation and how it changed in the last 2 months after I released my first video, and whether it is still an attractive investment or not. First of all, the market has gone a bit crazy in the first quarter compared to the last year, as we see a 66% increase in sales volume, which is partially a good thing. The market is finally waking up after a pretty long, and I mean 6 years long, hibernation period, and more people are coming to Alberta, which further fuels the economy and accelerates the growth in many aspects. And while the average price per property had increased by about 8% compared to the beginning of last year, I still believe that we will see the real growth only in the next 5 to 10 years horizon. And what we see right now is likely just the beginning of a huge upside. Obviously, it won't be like Ontario, where the price has essentially doubled in a little over a year, but I expect to see anywhere from 30 to 50% return on investment in the long term if you bought your property last year or planning to do so this year or next year. Anyways, enough with the intro, and let's see how much money you would need to get a decent home in Calgary. I will show you what's available in different price ranges, all the way from relatively affordable $400,000 homes to more expensive and modern $700,000 options. If you're an average income person who is making anywhere from $45,000 to $65,000 a year, you'll be probably looking in the $500,000 range or less, which is surprisingly enough to get a nice home in Calgary. In that case, your mortgage will be in the range of $1,500 to $1,700, depending on the size of your down payment and the rate you will choose, which is also quite affordable. Especially if you're living with somebody, it is even cheaper than rent one-bedroom apartment, if you think about it. And remember that if you are short on cash, you can always start as small as with a 5% down payment, which would only require you to have $20,000. Let's all agree that it's pretty manageable to save that amount of money even on a relatively small and single-person income. And yes, I know that everyone tells you to put 20% down payment to avoid overpaying for mortgage insurance, but I would rather invest that money in a stock market and get much higher returns later instead of giving it away to the bank. Now, let's take a look at what this price range can give us, and I mean $400,000 to $500,000. I've selected a few options pretty much from the top of search results without going into the deep search, just to give you an idea of where we stand right now in terms of prices. Those houses are by no means luxurious or modern, but still great for the money, especially for beginners, especially if it's your first property, if it's your first house, if you're still young, if you're not making as much just yet. These are just the best picks. Though Those are the ads that had been posted in the last couple of days. I wasn't super picky and chose just some reasonable options for people with an average income. As you can see, the market is still quite affordable, and that's just the Calgary. In Edmonton, prices are even lower, about 30% more affordable on average, as you can get a nice detached house for $300,000, which in Ontario gets you an old and ugly one-bedroom condo in the USSR-style building. And I'm not joking. When it comes to personal finance, for someone with an average income, $1,500 per month for mortgage payments and about $500 extras in bills shouldn't be a problem, especially considering that most people will have a family income anyways, so even if your home costs you $2,000 or more per month, it is super manageable if you split it 50-50 with your partner. And even if you're making less than an average, let's say around $40,000 a year or below, you can still afford yourself a nice property, though I would suggest going with a condo unless you have a partner who can assist with your down payment and your monthly mortgage payments. That is the beauty of Alberta's real estate right now, because the market is still super affordable compared to the rest of Canada. For a condominium, you're looking at $160,000 to $180,000 for a decent one-bedroom, and I suggest watching my first two videos on this channel where I shared my experience in regards to buying a condo close to downtown Calgary. Prices haven't changed all that much, so that video is still quite relevant and I suggest you watch it. Now it's time to look at more expensive options. Not everybody wants to go with an average house, of course. And if you are wondering how much a beautiful house with a modern design, much bigger square footage will cost you, I've got some options here as well to give you an idea. Here's what $700,000 to $800,000 gets you in Calgary right now, which is, in my opinion, are quite beautiful selections. These are mostly new and quite big houses, over 1500 square footage. They have a better materials both from inside and outside, and I feel like for investment purposes, these kinds of houses are the best bet, as we're probably looking at 30% upside in just a few years. Just to compare, to get something near that in Toronto, you would need to spend at least $2 million. Funny, right? I do love modern houses with dark brick and wood combinations, with huge windows, lots of open space and all that, but right now I'm looking for something much more affordable and will be aiming at the $400,000 to $500,000 range. For me, it will be the house to live in, not to flip and make a profit in a few years. Of course, you can also get some pretty impressive mansion-style houses in Calgary for $1 to $2 million, but I feel like that's the topic for the future videos, because this one was made to show you some affordable and I would say, realistic housing options. Also, sometime this year, probably in the summertime, I would say July or maybe August, I will purchase my new house here in Calgary in the $500,000 range to show you what kind of house you can get if you look really, closely and if you select very carefully. I will explain all the steps that I've taken, how long did it take me, how much did I spend, what are the obstacles, and whether or not I am happy with that purchase. Anyways, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to see your opinion on future prospects of Calgary real estate market and whether it looks attractive to you or not right now, and what is your strategy in this current market. So please stay updated, subscribe to that channel, like this video to show some support, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss any further uploads, because more videos are coming. I will try to upload as much and as often as I possibly can, and I will see you very soon.